actually, when I was a kid, I hated when they would play music. I always thought it was really loud, and I mean, I really didn't appreciate it the same way I appreciate it now. I think, you know, they even tried to teach me piano when I was a kid. I thought it was boring, and I don't know. It's funny. It's funny how it happens, though. I think I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm doing music now and that music is part of my family. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, at one point or another, it's like the instincts kind of take over, and you know, when you're surrounded by it so much as a kid, when you're older, it starts to open up things that you wouldn't normally hear. You know what I mean? Like, if you're always, it's like, I don't know. I'd say, you know, like kids who grow up and their parents are athletes, you know, and then, you know, they find themselves at the gym a lot, you know. And so I think I definitely was like nurtured to an extent. But like I said, I really didn't discover it for my own until I was an adult. Well, I learned in 7th grade. I first learned to play trombone, and that was kind of like my main instrument. Took private lessons, learned how to read and you know, improvise, playing in the jazz band and the orchestra and stuff like that. Kind of just kept with it until high school. I also learned how to play flute, and it was really just a hobby until I got to college. And then once I was doing the college thing, like I said, I ended up spending all my time doing music. And then when I went to Berkeley, that's when I really started to, you know, it went from being like a weekly thing or just gigging to practicing 5-6 hours a day, and became like really intense, you know. So, but no, I received training. Plays congas, saxophone, and he has a few brothers. Another one plays piano, another one plays percussion, and another one sings. So there's always noise in the house, you know. The group, you know, it's funny. I mean, I was just gigging with a bunch of people around the city, and then when I came back from school in Boston, I decided to kind of try my own music out, and the band is kind of, I mean, you've seen it. I mean, the past 6 months or so, it's almost been like a musical chairs type thing. You know, people come and go. It hasn't been a band yet. I think right now it's finally starting to become a band where I have like the same people at certain instruments, and they're really starting to get familiar with the tunes, and we can start taking it places. But really, just until recently, it was always whoever was available for the night I would call. So I knew a few drummers I could call, and a couple bass players and guitar and horn players. And so I started in 2009. We played, I guess, on my birthday, Halloween. It was like the first show, and we played a few covers. We played a couple originals, and that was like the first show with my music. And then kind of been gigging since then. And a couple people have been around since then, like, you know, Curtis on violin, he's still around. Cyrus, we've been rocking together, and then Compton, I would say, would be the oldest member so far. But I mean, I've been fortunate enough to play with a lot of really talented people, and I've always had like a band for a show that I booked, you know. So I've been really lucky to kind of do that, and it's cool. It's cool to meet a bunch of different people, and they always put their own spin on the music. But now it'd be nice to really build a rapport and really be able to have the same crew to take the music somewhere and you know, get heard. You know, I'm pretty much a freelance horn player. I mean, I play with stereo crowd as well, and then whoever really needs a trombone player. I mean, I've done jazz sessions and classical, reggae, funk, hip hop, some salsa, you know, and so I try to be as flexible as I can, and I try to be as prepared as I can, so that no matter who calls me for what type of gig, I can make sure I can do it. And helps you get paid, when you can like do the job well and get a call back. I think that's always the most important thing, is trying to establish like a working relationship with people, let them know you're a responsible dude, so whenever they need you, you kind of keep those doors open, so you can keep working. We did this Styles P gig out in Rhode Island, which is really cool, and it was funny because right before the gig, nobody really knew if it was gonna come together or not, because we had a rehearsal. It was mainly just the band, like Styles really didn't show up to the rehearsal, and he showed up like at the last minute, and he really just seemed like out of it. We didn't know if he was gonna be like ready for the show. We didn't know if he was like sick or something like that. And then we start playing at the show. His manager he tells us the set list literally like 5 minutes before we go on stage, so we didn't even know like the order of the song. And then we go on stage, and the Styles just killed it. Like he, had 3,000 people in the crowd. Every single person is reciting every word that comes off, off of his lyrics, and so that was fun. I mean, it's funny, even like this last MC Hammer show, where you really don't know if things are gonna come together, and then you find yourself playing to like a sea of people. There's like that last one was 15,000 people. It's the biggest crowd I've gotten to play with, and so I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of this and that. You get nervous, but then when it comes down to it, it's just a lot of fun to be able to do what you love to do and have other people appreciate it. I think that's really that's the cool part. I teach students. I was teaching like on a weekly basis through a school in the village. I was also teaching with this school in the Bronx, like an after-school program, brass band stuff, and then I also do private lessons too. So it's nice to be able to meet the students one-on-one and really kind of introduce them to this instrument, and it's great to see them when they put the work in, see them grow over the course of the semester. The funny thing about brass is that you could tell who practices and you could tell who doesn't, just because of the actual sound. Like I said, you have to really build up muscles, and it's something you have to do every day. It's like someone going to the gym. You can't just put in like 5 hours and then just kind of veg out the rest of the week and drink beer and eat donuts, and then just show up with your trainer and be like, all right, I'm ready to train. Like, so it's the toughest part about being a teacher is really, I think that's my job though. I think my job is like to inspire people to want to do it themselves. You know what I mean? Not to be there barking at people. You got to do this. You got to do this. Because it's all about how much they want to put in. The more that they put in, the more they're going to get out of it. So I guess my job is to like show them how enthusiastic I am about it, and hopefully they catch on to that and get enthusiastic as well. So. And yeah, I'm always available to teach lessons. You can reach me at freddyfuego@gmail.com. It's called the New York chapter, and there's a different track or a different genre on there for each track. 25 to 30 different musicians on the track, and I've been really, like I said, it was a really ambitious project because it's a mix between. We'll have like a straight hip-hop song that'll go into a jazz tune, that'll go into some classical piece, and so it's been, I don't know, I wouldn't even know what I would call it. It's more of like a soundtrack, really. I try to think of it as like a soundtrack for, because most of the songs are written off of like directly about like experiences that have happened, so it's kind of like a soundtrack for the past 2-3 years of my life. Really trying to find my voice and trying to figure out what it is I want to say, and I think finally with the music and the composing, I've actually been able to articulate it, and so it's cool. It's real cool. Like I said, that's been able to come together, and it's about an hour's worth of music, and but it's cool. I think there's something there for everybody, and I think it's really gonna show people kind of where I'm coming from musically. It's completely different than the live shows, where the live shows are all improvised, really. This is very much more composed, and I don't know. I was thinking of another word, I couldn't think of the other word. This was very composed and very planned out, very structured. Yeah. Finally, 2011, I think. Yeah, like 4 years in terms of writing, recording, editing, all that. Like finally, the project's gonna be done, and it's something I'm proud of. And so it'd be nice to get it out there. It'd be nice to get it out there. Hopefully, people like it, and hopefully, it creates a demand for a second one. Alright, so for free streams and free downloads of live EPs and the new album, you could go to freddyfuego.bandcamp.com.
And just a comment, I got the steps to stay committed. No gimmicks, these lyrics reflect the part of me that I would go to any galaxy to see. You see the reason I believe it's all about security and wanting to change. I heard